Before we begin, please be advised that this show may contain some adult themes and language that may not be suitable for all listeners. Now, onto our show. Okay. Welcome to the Sip and Saga Society, where we cover histories, mysteries, and overall weird ass shit. Today we have our very close friends, Christina and Nevada. Oh, and Christina has bubbles?
I do. She made the best freaking little packs today for the kids after Easton's birthday, like their little goodie bags.
That's so cute.
Thank you. I pride myself on them, honestly, at this point. She
Oh, good.
every
Now I can talk.
every item in there was like Bluey, okay, a Bluey episode themed item.
Ah, that
So we
is
all just need Tina to
cute.
be our mom, is all I'm gonna say.
Nev, what are you drinking?
I have this grapefruit juice.
Oh,
So good. And also water,
hell.
health.
I got a Coke Zero because I live for health also, and I need caffeine.
Also, are you going to drink that Mountain Dew one?
I was
You,
going
s-
to, and then I was like, I don't want to drink this much.
it's big can.
It's huge. It's scary. It looks intimidating.
Ooh, I don't know if I can fit all that in my stomach.
Exactly. I don't know if Christina's sipping anything.
I have a Dr. Pepper because not health and diabetes. Well, that's
As I've
fair.
been snacking on candy here too. So
Really jealous. I kind of want candy. Oh,
Treat
wait.
yourself.
it's from the goodie bags, girl. Like I got all this, like some of like a good majority left.
Oh, that's a good amount.
I don't need all this. Am I gonna eat it? Hell yeah.
Um, the family I work for gave me a box of fucking cookies and muffins. And I'm like, there's one person in this house. Just me?
I've gotten into a habit of like throwing shit out or like I'll take one. I'm like, I have foods that have no breaks. Like there's no breaks on this train. I'm gonna eat it all gone in one sitting. So I've been throwing that shit out.
I'm actually very good with being like, no, I don't need more of this. Or like, I try to give myself options that I know will satisfy the craving that I have without
Hmm.
like leading me down like eating a whole cake by myself. So I've like
Yeah.
blueberries and whipped cream or like carrots and
Hmm.
ranch, and I'm like, oh, I want a
Th
crunch.
that's why I don't keep it in the house, like certain things. Like Reese's, if I get a 4 pack, I will eat them all within a day. Not like in one sitting, but if I like get 1 cup each night, like drive and get one, then I'm like, what is that?
You pace yourself.
Balance.
Yeah.
I.
Hmm. Anyway, so today we're going to be covering the second part of our fun toilet extravaganza. And we'll still be using the book Wiped by Robert something that I forgot his name. Ingard as our resource. So, in the beginning, before the invention of toilets and rooms, there was the ground and people just shat on the ground. They just dropped it wherever they could find. It was convenient and it made the plants grow. So, this is still common today, but definitely mostly in rural areas as well as in cities and in Africa and India. There's just poop everywhere. Every day, 200,000 tons of human feces are deposited in India. They're just left out in the open, stepped over, lived on. Poverty and lack of alternatives are a huge reason for this, and in order to solve the problem, the government built millions of public latrines. But the population was like, "This is nice. This is nice."
I
And
could
they
not imagine having to like wander the streets and like constantly have to watch my step. You know what I mean? Like I understand that there's not there wasn't another option for them, but like that's just wild to me to be like, oh, shouldn't be wearing my nice shoes out today, you know? Like
Don't. Actually, don't.
yeah, don't.
Don't go outside. It's scary out there. So they began to use these public latrines because they were real nice as everything but bathrooms. Like they would use them as storage rooms for like hay or like for their donkey or like literally anything, like a closet, a bedroom. They would just do whatever with these public spaces. So then, they were like, well, fuck, we can't have nice things. Indoor toilets have been found as far back as Babylonian palaces built in 2300 BCE. They found these tombs, these 2,000-year-old tombs in China in central province of Henan, and they're kind of like the Egyptian tombs where they're built with like everything you would need in the life and that you need in life you would need in death, right? With that belief in mind. So they had toilets in the grave site, and the toilet even had armrests. And it was even like capable of having like water run under it. So like
How
it was a
bougie.
functioning toilet for the dead person,
For the
essentially.
dead person?
Yeah, because it was found in a tomb.
Oh, well, maybe they had guards
I mean, I think it was just
for,
the toilet for the dead guy
wait, where was this? I
in
missed it.
China 2,000 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Ancestors need to use the bathroom too, I guess.
Well, they were like how the Egyptians did, like they give them
Yeah.
everything they need. So it's the same thing. They're like they gotta go.
Yeah,
We gave them food. They're gonna poop.
that makes sense.
Hmm. The Greeks and Romans had public and private latrines that were connected to a sewer system, but these were also places of gossip and business. Even when private homes, men and women regarded defecating as a time to commune with friends and family, and you would sometimes find toilets in like groups of little threes and fours. So people would just chill together while they're pooping.
Never. You
If you
couldn't pay
missed
me
the
to do
first,
that.
if you missed the first part of this, Nev and I do not mess around with this poop community business.
Mm-mm.
No.
Y'all
Kristen,
telling
you
You,
me
have
you
a
wouldn't
meeting.
have a nice sit down and talk about our next podcast together?
Literally,
no.
I will never speak to you again if you're like, I think we should have a poop talk. I will never talk to you again. The
I,
idea of it is making me so stressed. Like, you know, yeah,
I
I,
like
I'm like,
like public bathrooms. I'll go with my girlfriends to the bathroom while they're
yeah.
peeing, but it better not be anything else. And if it changes,
If you
I
start pooping on me, oh, like if you're in the public bathroom and like I'm talking to you, you're peeing, and then you suddenly just start pooping. I'm pissed.
I'll be like, I'll meet you back at the table because you got me fucked up.
You disrespected me. You disrespected my family. Oh my God. Oh,
Can you imagine going to the
Shame on
bathroom?
you and your cow.
I'll be like,
yeah.
oh, we're all going to the bathroom together. And then me being like, guys, you gotta go.
You
Please
to
make your
fuck with us.
exit.
Oh,
No,
at least
you
warn
know,
us. Thank you.
yes, exactly. You know
Please
what?
make your
That's what I
exit.
want.
Yeah.
I,
I
I
wouldn't want to be like in the middle of talking to you and then all of a sudden hear it drop, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or smell it.
yeah.
No.
I I do
What
not
if
love
I
anyone.
was nervous? I was like, guys, just talk really loud.
I would leave. I do not love
I
anyone that much. I love nobody that much. I don't love Evan that much. I love not my
if
mom that much. I want nothing to do with this. I'm telling you this on the internet. I want nothing to do with it. I am so uncomfortable by it.
no, seriously, like if I could not be in the room while I had to poop, I would not be there. It's fine. That would be
If you could
great.
do this without me, that would be ideal. Stop bringing me into this. Do this when
Ye-
I'm sleeping.
yes.
Ah, the ancient world. So a lot of the ancient world and medieval times used chamber pots. So it was containers with a wide base and a narrow opening on the top so that people could squat and do their business. And then they would just dump it out, literally out into the streets, out the window, outside my house, wherever. Nobody cares. Just throw
Ooh,
your
I'd
shit
be
in the
so
river.
mad if I see someone throw shit out the window. I would be so mad. I'd be like, what the fuck you
Logan's
doing
like,
that for?
Ah!
Logan looked at you like, who shit out the window?
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
In the Middle Ages, they decided they wanted it to be less smelly than the chamber pots, so they created a closed stool. So it was basically the pot inside of a box, and you could just pop the box open and like go to the bathroom and then close it. And it had like a little, I think I included it in one of the pictures. I think it's number 3. It's cute. It's a cute box. That's all I gotta say. I think I picked a cute one. I think the one I picked was Henry the Eighth's. Yep, I added the picture. That is my favorite king, if you did not know.
I was gonna say his little like velour seat.
Yeah, that's where his
Hmm.
butt is at. He's a bougie
Talk
man.
about comfort. It reminds me, you remember those like squishy like toilet seat covers?
Envisioning this man, this giant of a king, this giant, huge 500-pound man being like, I live for comfort. Ain't crazy. Anyway, so yes, then yeah, they had a little side door so somebody could come by and just take the pot and throw the pot out, throw it wherever. Henry the Eighth's closed stool had the silver handles and the red velvet cushion and the hinged lock on top. So like the lid of it, you could lock it so that only the king could use it. It
Ooh.
was his special poop box, and nobody else was going to use it. In the 16th century, behaviors began to change. A book written in that time said it's not proper to hold out the stinking thing for another to smell it, as some are wont to do, or lift the smelling thing to their nostrils and say, I should like for you to know how much that stinks. It would be much better to say, because it stinks, I do not smell it. So they were like, maybe we shouldn't be sharing so much poop with each other, which I think is a good lesson. I think that's important. I think we should stop sharing poop. I said it. I support everyone's decision, but don't bring me into it. In Paris or other European cities, men would carry buckets and large cloaks and travel the streets calling out, everyone knows what he needs to do, and you have to pay 2 cents. So like, so like, not everyone wanted to be seen when they're going poop. So this guy with the trench coat would walk around and he would just be like, here, I'll protect you from prying eyes, and put the bucket down, and you would just go to the bathroom in the bucket, and he would just wrap him around you with his trench coat. And that's how you go to the bathroom.
What a guy.
I'm sure you
What a guy.
a public bathroom, Christina. Yeah, this
I
is
would be like, I'm shy, sir. Please,
don't listen.
please cover me.
I'm pretty shy. I don't want to be watched. And yes, this is the line. We're all vulnerable with our underwear down below our knees. So it's a very scary part. You know? It's weird. I just think it's weird. Imagine that being your job, but people got to make money somehow. There's always a hustle. The first actual flush toilet with a bowl and water to clean it out was devised by Sir John Harrington for use by Queen Elizabeth I in 1596. He called it the Privy of Perfection. Cute. The issue was that this was built before sewer systems were invented, and there was no way to keep the smells and gas from the bacteria in all of this stuff come from coming back up. I don't know if y'all have ever had a sewer system, like a what is it, that box that holds it, or a sewer thing. Like where
A
you don't
composting toilet?
know, one of those toilets that like goes into a big thing, but it's on your property.
A septic tank?
Yes, a
Yeah,
tank.
septic tank. Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
God, I know this is a word. I used to have one of these. But like if you don't empty that thing out and clean it out, like the gases will
Mm.
help. And then it'll all go up and it will go into your house and it will like try to take over. It's terrifying.
Hmm.
I've
Hmm.
lived in a camper. So like we would have to empty the black tank out,
Yeah.
because if you don't, your camper will let you know
Well,
you need to empty it out because it will stink.
the thing is, before in 1775, Alexander Cummins took out this patent on this S valve. So I don't know if
Hmm.
you've ever noticed that the toilet has this little like swiggle, like,
What? Oh, you
like
mean
behind it, like behind under it, like the little swivel thing. So it was like a S valve was connected to the bottom of the bowl, and configuring the pipes in that S shape, you keep the water, like the water keeps all that stuff down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He's the guy that invented it in 1775.
Oh, thank
So
goodness for
before
him.
that, I know, bless him. So before that, the it was just like a straight pipe. So all that stuff would just come back up all the time, even when you didn't have septic tank issues.
Blech.
I know, imagine. So yeah, it like out of all the things that have changed in toilets, that thing has never changed pretty much. Like they maybe like modify it a little bit, but essentially everybody is using that same guy's patent, which I think is very cool. Sometimes people get things right. Even though people had all these places to go to the toilet, people continued to just go wherever they wanted because why not? During 1702, Louis the 14th sister-in-law wrote, dang, this girl is always talking about somebody. I don't know if it's the same lady. There's one dirty thing at court that I shall never get used to. The people stationed in the galleries in front of our rooms piss and shit into all the corners. It's impossible to leave one's apartment without seeing somebody pissing. And I'm like, man, imagine going over to someone's house and people are just like going to the bathroom in the corner. I couldn't do it.
I would leave.
I couldn't do it. And
I
this
don't
is
think I could do that either,
this is
honestly.
Versailles. This is like beauty and gold and me, and we are bougie as fuck and we're gonna let the people starve. And there's just guys pooping in the corner. In the 19th century, Lord Byron was banned from a hotel in London because he constantly used the corner of the foyer rather than going to the basement bathroom. He just constantly just would not stop shitting in the hall.
Like a fucking dog,
I know.
dude.
Stop doing this. Who do you think you are? Flush toilet technology advanced, but most people fought bringing the poop thing into their homes where they slept and lived. Why would we bring that shit literally in the house? And that makes sense, I think. I feel like that's pretty reasonable.
That's
If
why
we
they had
always
outhouses.
if we always pooped outside the house, why would we want that in the house? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Out,
Convenience, but
Yeah, but now there's poop in my house?
yeah. I'm not vibing.
Mm-mm. Outhouses were okay when the weather was decent, but when it was cold and frosty, it became a shock that even the strongest man resisted. The dread of outhouses was a major cause of constipation in women. Flush toilets really only became useful when you had a plumbing system, and most people did not have a plumbing system. People just lived off outhouses until the 1940s, really. So the outhouse was outside, and you would sit on a wooden seat and not let all your waste fall far below you. Like this makes sense in a little rural town where you like live on a farm and it's like cute, right? But if you live in the city, the outhouses are just like a bunch of communal outhouses behind your apartment building. So you're just sharing all of these with a bunch of different families, and they're taken care of by your landlord, and it's the landlord's job to clean them. So they were gross and a huge cause of cholera, dysentery, and caused epidemics that would kill like a bunch of people, essentially, because they were just like shitholes that people just hung out around. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, imagine being a lady and walking out there by yourself at night, you know?
No, I don't go outside at night by myself.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if your only option was this outhouse,
Uh-uh. That's
and
why I'd be constipated.
that literally is why I would be constipated. I don't want to die.
Hmm.
I only poop during the day,
Yeah.
only during the day.
That's when I would shit in the hall.
Okay. It was gross, but whatever. Toilet
But
technology began booming in the 1870s because people were trying to find a simple, maintenance-free device with a bowl that basically cleaned itself after every flush. Like they were like, we need to find this thing.
mhm.
The Victorian inventor Josiah George Jennings outflushed them all with his technology while flushing at one time 10 apples, a sponge, four pieces of paper, which I feel like is very specific, and an oily substance that they smeared in the bowl. So after he flushed all that stuff, they were like, that guy's toilet wins.
Awesome. Cool
So
toilet, dude.
the pedestal toilet was introduced. The issue that remained, however, was that these toilets would use large amounts of water when you pulled the chain above the device. The entire house would shake with the force of the water rushing from the tank above. Now everyone knows you pooped. Sick. By 1913, they figured out that by leaving a little bit of water standing in the bowl and changing the configuration of the S trap, the flush was less forceful yet still effective. They also moved the water tank from above the whole thing to a closed unit where the water is part of the toilet. Ta-da! We made a toilet. Thus, it became the American standard for millions of homes. Now we are free of shame. Yay. But also, we have a place to shit, but our butts are still dirty. What do we do? A mystery. Toilet paper. I don't know if y'all knew this, but human beings are the only people with fat butts, like the only animals in the world.
You said with fat butts?
We got an ass. Not everyone, but some people. So you have basically something that you have to clean between. Like other animals just have like the hole out there. It's just out there.
You can stare at it.
Yeah, I know. Just wait for my cat to walk by. And unlike cats and dogs, we don't really lick ourselves clean. We know we know a little bit about prehistoric poop because under very special conditions, poop can like mummify. So people can research it and learn about greens, meats, berries, and whatever people used to eat, as well as what parasites that infected them. So like roundworms, hookworms, whipworms, flukes. Have you ever seen a fluke? It's gross. And
No, I
tape,
haven't. I'm gonna
they're like
Google it.
weird shaped. I don't like it.
Wait, they're worms?
The flukes. Have you?
How do you
That's a
spell it?
I don't
Flukes.
I don't actually want to Google it, but I feel like I've heard it. People talk about it in like the
Like
detox community.
it's like a flat worm is what I would call it. It's
I'm
like
eating
flat, like
broccoli. I'm not Googling that.
and like diamond shaped. Sick.
Have you seen them in real life
Hmm.
since
I
you're a nurse?
I've never seen one in
Yeah,
real
I
life.
see what you mean.
They're gross, aren't they? Mm.
Yeah.
But we still don't know how they clean their butts. So we know how what they ate and what parasites they had, but we don't know what they did to clean. But it's suspected that they would just use whatever they had, like moss and your hand or whatever.
Dude,
And
I
I,
would hope. Yeah, you would not pay me enough to walk around with an itchy booty like that.
I mean, if that's how it's always been,
I
this,
mean, yeah,
my
but
butthole's puckering now, thinking about it.
uh-uh.
Like, when you're like talking about something too
Yeah.
much, like I'm very aware.
You said
Oh,
that
I'd
was
like to
That's
a
say
butt clenching moment.
was a
mm-mm.
butt.
You
I was
can't
like,
make me.
mm-mm. So they
Mm-mm.
suspected they used whatever they had on hand. Snow. I'm like, who the fuck is wiping their ass with snow? Ugh.
Snow. I guess it's a form of water, but I would not like something cold on my booty like that.
Ugh. In 1913, Ernest Stephen was an anthropologist who visited the island of Nauru in the middle of the Pacific when he made the following observation. A fruit like a giant pineapple had the leaves taken off of it and chewed upon to squeeze the juice out. The chewed part bit was used as a brush sometimes, as well as toilet paper. Some people didn't wipe. Instead, they scraped using an instrument of. Oh, so yes. Sorry, I didn't pause myself. So basically,
Clearly.
yes, that family used that that community out in the middle. Sorry, Nev, cracked me up with your face.
Sorry.
The, this community that he found in the middle of the Pacific, and they were just like indigenous people that hadn't been touched by the world. Were just like chewing on this and being like, I'll use this stick that I've chewed upon to wipe my bottom, and now it's.
hmm
And so they were like, that's also could be a thing
Yeah. Stick
potentially.
up your ass.
Oh, scratch it, clean it off. So some people, like peoples in mass, didn't wipe it off. They would use like a stick or something to scrape off.
I feel like the stick wouldn't be like it wouldn't get everything.
Some would use a clamshell, or if they
Yeah.
lived in land, a shell of a nut.
Rocks. I know that's one that I have a friend who's used. He's like, I could teach you how to wipe your ass real good with a rock. I'm like,
Literally, we're almost. It's coming up. But yes, I.
Is it one of those smooth ones, you know? Like the
mm-mm.
smooth.
You got to find one with corners. That way you can scrape it out.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I've
I'm,
done,
I'm going to continue to give a lot of money to Angel Soft. anyone is wondering, because
I've used leaves, but only because I was in the woods.
if I was in that situation, I would find something.
I would
Yeah.
rather use toilet paper.
My mom used a sock one time, and then she's like, I think it was my mom or my brother. No, I think it was my brother. I don't remember because they came out of the woods with a sock. Less comfortable would be the flat or round sticks used typically in the Far East, with such sticks being found in ancient cisterns in 750 BCE Japan. So yeah, people would just use sticks and whatever and just scrape it off. Scrape it off. Get it off somehow. The Greeks used their hand, but only the left hand. They were superstitious about the left hand, which may be because it was always used for the gross stuff and the right hand was used for clean things like eating or brushing your teeth. If you were
I
to use,
mean, at least they got kind of like,
at least you had a system.
yeah, you know what I mean? Where you kind of didn't mix that or however you want to word it. Like, because I mean, to me, like, yeah, like I would like to clean or eat with my clean hand. Like, that makes sense. Like, I wipe with this hand. I ain't touching nothing. You know, I ain't touching nothing with that left hand.
Nothing.
Oh, because imagine, are you gonna hug your child not with the left hand? Mm-mm. High five, Christina. Left hand only.
Can
Don't
you
touch it
imagine?
with
Are you
that.
not gonna hug me? I can't. This hand has to stay up. It has to be out. I can only hug you like this.
I can't move this hand. I have it in the special pocket and it lives there. Yeah, oh my
It's
God.
a special pocket.
Like, otherwise it's out and about and touching things. Oh, I
Yeah,
can't.
I would too. I'd be like, you gotta give me a glove, man, so I don't be accidentally doing shit. Like,
Need help. I need a
imagine
glove.
having an intimate moment and you like
No.
caress their cheek. Was that your left
Ugh.
hand?
Or you accidentally eat a piece of bread with it.
Oh, stop.
I'm so absent-minded, dude. I would end up dying of
Did you
some kind of.
put it on Facebook? Nev touches people with her left hand.
She touches
Like
her people with her
boomers.
poop hand.
Ew.
Can you
You
imagine? I
really.
need to go see how so and so's doing. Oh, well, she died because
I tried to kill her. I touched her with my left hand. Oh, you did, girl.
oh, you did. You did.
Anyway, so if you were too good for the hand thing, you could use a stone. And then I did LOL for like 5 minutes. So, you know, I think how I type. 3 stones should be enough to wipe one's ass. I do. Oh, picture 5 is what I wrote. I think it's the guy with holding literally, I think it's like a little, like a Greek statue picture, and he's like holding a stone
Oh yeah.
to wipe his butt.
He's like, yeah.
I think it's hilarious. I don't like poop humor, but that amuses me.
I
I
bet
just,
it was painted on a some pottery, back in the day, because that's how they got their news.
oh yeah, that's how everything. He's like, this guy's chat.
He used a rock.
Wow, me too. I'm just like this guy. If the stones were rough, you use 3. So if they had a lot of edges, you use 3 because they were more absorbent. But if they were
Oh,
you had to use 4 or more, which kind of makes sense because if there's like little divots and stuff, like it could hold.
it's
Uh,
your Charmin.
this is 5 ply. There's something bigger than 4 ply. Yeah, and they bring you to the rocks. Sorry. Help me. Anyway, if they were smooth, you use 4 or more for this. Rich Greek people would use leeks, like the vegetable, when they were in season. Or you could use your toga if your butt was extra sensitive. The Romans, on the other hand, were reasonable and developed a sponge on a stick that could be shoved between your legs and you could wipe without having to stand up. Since the bathrooms were communal, The sponges were communal as well, and they were shared with everyone. Yay,
I
sponges.
love that for them.
Yeah, so they kept the sponges in like there was the hole with the toilets, and then there was like a little like rivet thing in the bottom, and they would keep the little sponges in there so they would get like cleaned by the little river that came by. Or they would keep it in a saltwater filled vase. Hmm. The saltwater filled vase with the poop sticks. In
How'd that
Europe,
cover it?
Middle Ages, those who could afford it would use cloth to wipe themselves. So you're either okay, so like you're using the shells or the sticks, or you could use a cloth. They would then reuse the same cloth over and over and over until it fell apart, and then they were just like throw it away. So
Mhm.
this was kind of figured out whenever people would investigating monasteries, like old monasteries, and they creep through. I mean, I think there's a better word for it as like an anthropologist, but like creep through the latrines, and they were like, oh, they left a bunch of shirts in here. So no, I'm joking. So how terrifying. No,
Imagine.
when the monks' clothes was like old and worn, they would be like, okay, well, we're gonna cut this into strips, and that's what they would use as toilet paper. And then when it was like too worn down as toilet paper to be of any use, they just threw it away and they just threw it in the latrine. So they just threw it down the hole. And so then when
Mhm.
they investigate or these scientists came by and looked through all the stuff, that's when they were like, oh, there's a bunch of shirts in here. Because this is what they used it for. The rich people also used their own like old clothes as toilet paper, but they were rich. They had a lot nicer stuff. They may have had nicer cloth to wipe their butts.
Hmm.
That didn't mean that they were better at cleaning. An old 12th century historian wrote, we see some people who are carefully brought up and well versed in sciences and knowledge of the world, and they have decided to taste for shit, not in vases, but a little on the tails of their shifts and their clothing. So imagine like you're walking past the king and there's like, oh, I got a little little bit of poop on your is that is that what that is? Oh, okay. Like how can you take anyone seriously with they're like, oh, there's his poop stain.
I'd
Maybe
be
not
staring at it the whole time.
Like you're like, oh, that's the king. Oh, you're gonna behead somebody with a big old shit stain on your shirt.
exactly.
I couldn't.
Maybe
I'd be staring
you.
at it. You'd be
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Christina, they're about to get beheaded. And I'm just like,
Keep that shit stain away from me.
I'll be like, can y'all, I need to sit on the far side. I don't want to sit close to him. Somebody switch me, you know?
We're all seeing it, right?
He
Are we
said,
just
y'all just told me
pretending it's
we're
not
gonna
there?
ignore it. Yeah.
The rich were too good to wipe their own butts throughout centuries. And it was like throughout centuries and throughout different cultures as well. So in England it was like the groom of the king's closed stool. So it's the guy that's like his job is to like wipe your butt and like take care of your toilet. But this was a very prized position because you're with the king at his most vulnerable. Like you have it said whoever has the king's rear also has the king's ear because you're like right there.
Hmm.
You're talking to him. Elizabeth first changed the name of her wiping lady to the First Lady of the Bedchamber, which I think sounds nice.
That does
Does
sound
it?
like a nice title.
Yes. Well, she's still her poop wipey lady.
They're like overgrown
My
toddlers.
poop hand.
I'm done. Wipe my butt.
Exactly. I need privacy, and now I need you to clean me.
Yeah.
The French had La Porte Coton, the carrier of the cotton, because they carry the cotton and then wipe your butt. James the First of England was not even bothered to get his off his horse to go to the bathroom. Like he literally was like,
He
no, thank
shit
you.
while he was on his horse?
He would ride all day, never dismount, and when he got home at night, his attendants had to take him out of his clothes and clean him.
Ew.
Yeah, he just was like, "Yep, I'm not gonna do it. You do it. You clean this." Yeah. In China, certain men, like a powerful men, would grow their nails super long,
I
and
don't
then they
like where this is going.
and they would no. It's just like a calm down.
Okay.
Okay, so they would put jade and ivory and like all this nice, cool stuff on them, so they get their nails did and you have them really long.
Yeah.
As a public announcement to be like, I obviously cannot wipe my own butt.
Okay.
I am all powerful.
From now on, when I see girls with nails that long, I'm just assuming that they don't poop actually, or
They
they have a
they
chambermaid.
they
They have some.
might because that's what you got to do. Like, how else are you doing? I don't want to
They
know.
they might have somebody else wipe
You
their
wrap
ass
it
for
around
them.
like a goddamn oven mitt. That's what you do. It's so funny that you said that, Nev, because I was gonna say you have those guys that do that, like they get their hands all, and then you have the girls with the super long nails, like, yeah, I know how to wipe my own ass. I wouldn't get these if I didn't know how.
That is true.
You
They're like
know,
ready. They're ready for that
they're
question.
yeah.
Ugh, sick. I don't like that. Too much. But I just love how they're like, I don't. You you can tell from my hands. I don't do shit. I do nothing. Not even wipe. No, I don't even wipe it. Nothing. Like
My hands look like this so that my chambermaids look like that.
And look like
it's just a stick and a rock. You're just like, I don't know. I can't. The Japanese shoguns had two servants in attendance when they went to the bathroom because they needed one guy to fan them, like with a fan,
obviously.
'cause it's exhausting.
Have you ever had to strip all of your clothes off to go?
No.
Zach does.
I can honestly say I
I
have
like
never had
went
to
into
take
the
my
bathroom.
clothes off.
Yeah. And I'm like, why are you naked? And he's like, I forgot what he said. He's done it a few
Colton's done that. He's been like, it's a hot one. And then I'm like, you just stripping naked to go take a shit.
No, and Zach's like, you've never had the shit sweats. No, I have
No,
not.
It's a real thing.
sir, I'm a lady. I'm a lady.
No, Zach. Maybe it's your diet. I don't know, honey. Oh, okay.
I have to recover from that now.
Sorry, guys.
I'm never recovered. I'll wake
Everyone
up.
listening is gonna be like, "Oh, we heard it from the man himself."
The man himself did say the shits are hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he had the fanning guy and the wiping guy. I'm assuming they never switched jobs. That would suck.
I would like to be the fan guy if I had to be one.
Oh yeah, why would you? Because you're there, you have like all the power still. But
Especially if there's a stench. Like, I'm fading this all to you, buddy. It's not coming over here.
smart, Christina. Smart.
Okay.
I get it. I understand. During the 17th and 18th century, when all the poor French people were dying of starvation, it became a topic of argument amongst the aristocrats to debate which was better, satin or velvet, to wipe their ass. As the people were dying, they were like, you know what's a really important question? So that's just a reminder that rich people do not care about us. So they don't. The second wife of Louis the 16th used soft wool from a merino sheep to wipe
Ooh.
the bottom. So the mistress of Louis the 15th would then only use the finest lace to clean hers. But what if you were not rich and you were poor? What did you use then? Before the Industrial Revolution, cloth and paper were not readily accessible, which when I was doing this research, so earlier today, I was like, it is kind of weird because I think we live in a world where we have so much stuff all the time. We live in a very stuffed society, but like before the Industrial Revolution, things were not as easily made. Everything had to be handmade, every single thing. Like most of the clothes that you wear, all the cloth, all the paper, everything had to be made by hand. So everything, literally anything was a luxury. So why would you throw away any type of cloth you had when you could make it into a dress or a doll or whatever you want? You're not going to just literally throw it away when you only get one piece of cloth a year. So people typically try to use whatever was readily available and would use up like leaves and grass and hay because that's like around. You can find that for free. People living near the ocean would use shells to scrape, and even up until modern times, people would use shells. Outhouses throughout the West would use corn cobs, which I've heard of that before. People using corn cobs to wipe their bottoms.
Yum, chocolate corn.
Ugh,
Nev.
sick.
But honestly, the corn cob makes sense. Like,
I mean,
you know
it's
what I
It's like
mean?
a
so
good
much
It's kind
shape.
more,
of, yeah.
It's
and it's
soft.
absorbent.
Mm-hmm.
It's biodegradable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good for the environment.
Really, we're saving lives. Don't they make like cat litter, corn cob cat litter or something? I feel like they do. So then, paper. So China invented paper before the time of Christ. China has always been doing stuff way before everybody else. It was manufactured by pounding vegetable or textile material until it becomes a slurry in water. I don't know if y'all have ever made paper from like old paper. You just like
Yes, I have.
mash it all with water and then you're like, okay, this is new now. This is new paper now. Essentially that, but with like leaves. And it's pressed into a screen and then water is drained away from, and then when it's dried, it's paper. It was first used in China to wrap food, medicines, pack delicate objects like pottery or mirrors, as well as make fans, lanterns, kites, and to use as toilet paper because it was cheap, absorbent, thin, easy to make. The Chinese manufactured a special type of paper made from a tender fiber of the plentiful rice straw and required less labor than writing paper. So it was like easy, cheap, readily available. The imperial court kept the Chinese manufactured a special type of paper made from the rice because it was of the rice hay because it was cheaper. And then huge quantities were made. And we know that it was made like to these mass levels because the imperial court kept records of all of their sales. Imperial court got special toilet paper. So the rich people had their own special type of toilet paper that was light yellow, thick but soft, and also perfumed. Which, if you didn't know, you should probably not use perfumed toilet paper because it's going to mess with your bits. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
don't do it. Per usual, China did everything, and then 2,000 years later, people finally started changing. Europe continued to wipe their butts with whatever for 2,000 years. The invention of a printing press led to a revolution of butt wiping technology. When I type that,
Europe
I mean,
said, fuck China. We're gonna do what we're doing. We
we're
don't
going
want
to
to do
do
what
what
they're
we're going to do
doing.
for about 2,000 years, and we're not
Yeah.
going to make any changes.
If it ain't broke, don't change it.
Where books were once rare and expensive, but the paper was soft and absorbent. So authors were authors were appalled when they figured out that the words that they were writing were literally escaping with poop. Because people like books were expensive, but people were like, we could use this.
Oh, as an author, I would kind of be a little pressed about that too, honestly, though. Because like you work so hard to put your work out, then you got people wiping ass with it. Like thanks for buying my book, but
And you got this guy.
yeah, don't wipe your ass with my words, with my hard work, you
No.
bitch. Like, don't do that.
In the Middle Ages, some people badmouth paper because compared to lamb's wool and linen, it didn't do the job well. Instead of taking away the crap, it just flattens it, and sometimes the paper breaks and you end up with it on your finger. So people are like, paper sucks, don't use it. Which I could see that if you're using like a hard paper, not a very soft, pliable paper. As books became more common in the 18th century, they did gain a new life as paper in the chamber pot. A printing press even printed a loosely bound book called Bum Fodder for the Ladies. Or repeat that name because you're like, wow, did I hear that? Yeah. Bum Fodder for the Ladies. A poem on soft paper. This book is super rare to find for obvious reasons because it went down the toilet. There was a demand for paper, but until the 1800s, all paper was handmade. And in the West, it was made from old rags. So, like, we don't got cloth and we don't got paper. It was slow and intense process to make it. So, two inventions changed the situation. The Frudnier brothers perfected a machine that could produce huge rolls of paper continuously. And in Canada, Charles Finerty developed a way of chemically treating wood chips and processing them into a pulp suitable for manufacturing of paper. By the mid-century, paper mills were producing huge amounts of paper. Newspapers then transformed from densely printed folio sheets to the large formats that we know today, which was like, I don't even know why I've never thought about this, how a newspaper is so big and is so much paper. If I have to hand make everything, everything's printed down. Ev-
Mm-hmm.
We're,
Mm-hmm.
we don't need all the fluff.
Yeah.
Just tell
Yeah.
us what is happening. And I'm just like, I don't know why I've always thought newspapers have always just been big. Even the most poor person had access to paper. Like, even if you, not necessarily meaning it toilet paper, is like just paper in general, because it became so cheap and readily available. And then I was thinking, like, how much paper do I have in my house? Like, if I ran out of toilet paper and had to use paper, like, what would I have to do?
I have
Like,
used a
I can,
washcloth when I've run out of toilet paper. Have you
well,
ever
yeah,
heard
but
of family
I,
cloth?
yes, I have. I don't know if I could share. I think I
I
could my own cloth.
Yeah, I couldn't do it for everybody.
We're not sharing poop here.
No.
But what I meant to say is I feel like I have enough paper around the house that if we were out of toilet paper for a significant amount of time, I could make it work for a while. We just have so much paper now. So when you went to the public bathroom, you would get your paper cut up into squares for a penny. So literally newspaper pieces, just like you go to the public bathroom, you pay your penny, and they give you this box of paper. Or just like, here's your paper squares. Go clean your butt with them. At home, indoor water closets were supplied with a small box to hold the cut up pieces of paper. And in outhouses all across America, the Sears catalog hung up on a nail ready to be used. One person stated that their mom would cut out the girls before allowing it to go out into the outhouse to keep the naughty boys from looking at women in underwear. Nice. In the 1940s, when the Sears catalog changed to shiny paper because they wanted to show their wares better, people sent in hundreds of complaints. With all with all this paper all over the place to be used, why would somebody pay money to literally throw it down the toilet? Like, why would you pay for it when you already had it for free?
Felt that.
hmm Joseph C. Gaetti was the first person to manufacture and market a product he called paper for the water closet in 1857. Mr. Gaetti's argument was that you never knew what ink oil acid you were exposing your delicate butt to. He claimed regular paper was bad and would cause hemorrhoids, or at least irritate them. He offered toilet paper with a soothing oil to help the hemorrhoids that they called piles at that time. In his advertisement, he states that it should be especially placed in every lady's toilet, so her dressing room. So, like, oh, it should be in every woman's getting ready place. She should always be prepared with toilet paper. They did it so that it would sound nicer than just like, I'm using this paper for a specific purpose. It's like, oh, it's toilet paper. You can use it for anything in the bathroom. It's like a cotton swab. You can use it for anything.
Honestly, that's me with like baby wipes.
Uh-huh.
Like we got baby wipes everywhere. You know what I mean? Like other than like in the diaper bag, like I may have an extra one in my car, or we have one like in the bathroom in case like, like sometimes you just want to feel a little bit cleaner or whatever, you know what I mean? We have one on the dining table. Do a wipe your face, wipe your hands, like it's
I mean,
yeah.
real talk though, like, yeah, it is the bathroom. It's the paper of the bathroom. You can use it for other things. It's not just poop paper.
Not just paper.
I mean,
Be
honestly, like
making commercials.
when my allergies are bad and I don't want to go out and buy like Kleenexes, like I literally just have a roll. Like I'll get a roll and me and Easton will just use it. I mean, you know what I mean? Like,
Some of them are really soft, so like it
yeah.
makes sense. Yeah, and it was one of those things. I was like, wow, paper. We do use it for so much, and you know. In 1857, America had a new product, and they were willing to pay for it. Both in America and in England, they began manufacturing toilet paper. The term toilet paper was inspired by Getty's ad suggesting that it had a place on every woman's dressing area. A woman would not be ashamed to go to her corner store and tell the mail clerk that she wanted some toilet papers to, just like clean her face.
So you would be like able to go and not be ashamed to go buy your toilet paper because it's at this point not really thought of as a poop paper, but more like a dressing up, getting ready for the day kind of thing.
What do
So,
you like? But you still wipe your butt with it, but only
yes.
in the morning.
No, what I mean is like, um, at this time, the word toilet meant more like that it was more in that definition of dressing up and getting ready.
Oh, like toiletries.
Yes, exactly. So
Okay.
instead of,
Okay.
so people weren't like going, right now, if I say I'm going to go buy some toilet paper, people automatically think like poop, right?
Butts. Yeah.
hmm I think we've talked about it before, like where you can buy, or like when you buy wet wipes, like in theory, you're buying, for most people, you're buying wet wipes to buy, like to clean diapers or, whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
you can use them when you're doing makeup or
True.
car road trips. Like there's more uses than just the bathroom. So more and more people started installing flush toilets in their house. But the problem with flush toilets compared to outhouses was that you can't just throw whatever you want down a flush toilet. Like obviously we know this because we've been raised in a society where everyone has a toilet for the most part in their bathroom.
Yeah.
But today, like you're not supposed to just throw whatever you want in there. So the more flush toilets there were, the more need for that thin tissue paper that that guy was marketing. He stopped
Mm.
advertising that he was going to cure hemorrhoids because that was his original like gimmick. Like, he was like, I'm curing the world. I'm fixing the hemorrhoids. And he started going on about how this is the tissue paper you need for your flush toilet because you're not going to clog your toilet. So you can still buy toilet paper by the box and not necessarily on a roll in two different places. So number one is this Shaba toilet paper, which is catered towards Orthodox Jews who are forbidden to work on Sunday. And some may consider like the perforate, you know how toilet paper is perforated? Like the tearing to be a job. I know that Orthodox Jews can't even turn on the light on Sunday because it's considered work. So there's special lamps so that they don't have to turn it on, they just twist it. So in the same vein, you don't have to tear the toilet paper off. You don't have to do that work. You just pull it out and it's already perforated. And then the second person or the second place that you will find like toilet paper in the box is in England because the book is like the queen does not use the roll. She's a traditionalist.
That's fancy, first off. But also, so is it like it's not like facial tissue, right? Like not like a Kleenex,
No, it's like toilet paper, but it
but
is
just
like it
in
is layered in that way where you
that
just
way.
like
Yeah,
pull one and pull another and it just keeps
that's
coming out.
interesting. We should take a trip and go buy one
Yes.
somewhere.
Let's go to England. Business trip.
I'm sure there's Orthodox Jews like stores near us somewhere. We don't have to go to England, but we will for the toilet paper.
Just a special trip, you know?
I know. We're just here
We
for
could
toilet paper.
let's write it off.
I would do that.
Just saying.
100% travel for toilet paper.
I'm saying.
You know what's the best part though, when I was doing this research is I didn't think about the fact that the toilet paper has not always been on a roll.
That's interesting though, right?
You
I kind
used
of
to
want
Oh, go ahead.
I kind of want my toilet paper to not be on a roll anymore.
Now I want bougie toilet paper.
I want to be elegant.
In the 1880s, toilet paper was still sold as sheets. In 1838, Seth Wheeler was born and he went to school. I know you're like, who the fuck is this man? But listen, Seth Wheeler was born. He went to school in Albany and he became a mechanical engineer. He began to work at his father's company manufacturing farm equipment. He then began to invent things. He has invented at least 100 things because he patented 100 things. I mean, those are the things he was thinking that were worth protecting. Imagine what he invented that we don't even know about. In
What are
18,
these things that are protected? Do you have examples? I'm so
I have
sorry.
no idea, but I
Oh,
do know that he invented a method of perforating rolls of wrapping paper so that
okay.
so it was easier to divide between one sheet to the next. And so this is the first time that we had multiple sheets of paper that were perforated, and then he put these on a roll so they were easier to transport. So they were individual sheets that were perforated and on this roll. Apparently the people didn't really like that. Okay. Nobody
They
really
don't
wanted to
want their
buy
paper like
they
that?
Like,
didn't want the wrapping paper like that. It was hard. But
because
then
wouldn't
he
you want, like, I'm just saying, because, like, obviously now, right, you have, um, wouldn't you, like, if you have, like, a big present, wouldn't you want more, right? Because it's kind of
right,
weird to
like
wrap with,
now I have to tear off
you
8 of these
know,
rolls.
yeah, and figure out how to,
Well,
how to
but
do
also
it.
think of how toilet paper is pulled out. Like you're pulling out the toilet paper. You don't have to rip it every single time there's a perforation. You can pull it out in rolls
Yeah, but
and
that would
then
look so ugly on wrapping paper.
Maybe that's why it didn't go well.
The lady at the house was
Straight
like,
lines.
absolutely not.
I can see the perforations from here. Do it
Uh,
again. So he did start the Albany Perforated Wrapping Paper Company in 1877. And in 1880, the British Patent Perforated Paper Company began importing and selling toilet paper that was made by this company. So he did start out with wrapping paper and then transition to making toilet paper. He wasn't very successful in selling the toilet paper in America, but then was importing it to England. And the British Patent Perforated Paper Company began selling his toilet paper in England. So Wheeler in America, like I said, did not have as much luck here, but in hotels, that's when he got his biggest clientele, like with the hotels, because they were some of the few places that flush toilets were installed on a large scale. And the hotel guests would marvel at the modern age in the toilet paper that was on a roll. Like it was this huge, like, oh my God, the toilet paper. It's just going and going.
perforated.
It's on a roll. As more people began putting toilets in their home, people began to demand the latest and greatest butt wiping technology. So then Wheeler started doing the most and patenting everything related to toilets and toilet paper because he was not going to lose out. In 1883, he patents the toilet paper cardboard roll that goes inside the toilet paper roll, which I was
The,
like, wow,
the
I'm glad
cardboard piece?
the cardboard tube.
Wow.
He patented that. In
Smart man.
1884, he patented the first toilet paper roll holder. Bless you, child. In 1888, he patented the machine to perforate the toilet paper. And by 1893, he had patented at least 3 different types of toilet paper holders. Because
Big patent daddy.
I know there was a lot more and there were more lists in the book. And I was like, let me just narrow this down. During this time, everyone was inventing things, especially having to do with toilets. And patent 1,138,351 by Mr. Danner was an invention that he patented, which was a device that you could use to attach your toilet paper roll to, and it would clean your butt for you while you were sitting on the toilet.
I thought the
I don't,
toilet paper. What?
this is a separate man. This
Yeah,
is a
but
separate
like,
man that invented his own. Like you just attach the roll, and the machine that he patented and built would wipe your butt for you.
so bring your own toilet paper roll
Yes, but in theory, you would have this in
because we
your
don't share in
house.
this house.
Exactly. No,
But you
yeah,
should.
we're not sharing. We're
I
not
would
sharing.
share. Would you share?
No,
The
because like
pressure, like how hard it wipes.
Like, I like you, but I'm not going to share my toilet paper and butt scratcher
this
with
one is
you.
mine. Yeah. It said it
A,
would
a
be,
soft, a medium, and a hard.
yeah, but what if it was mean? Or what if it
Are you
missed? Like
Goldilocks?
you're a girl, would you be more likely to get like a UTI if you use the machine?
Oh, that's a good one.
With the vigorous action?
I don't know how vigorous it was. I have no idea. But I thought that was a nifty little invention someone thought about. We could all be
One of
kings.
those where it just keeps going though, where you don't feel quite clean, like it doesn't come quite clean just yet. You know what I'm
That's why
saying?
you
'Cause
need a
that'd be
bidet.
happening. Yeah, that's why it'd be happening.
You never know. Mr. Wheeler's company, the Albany Perforated Paper Company, continued to manufacture these rolls until the 1930s, but it was the rise of the Scott Paper Company that built the foundation of toilet paper. The Scott Paper Company was built by Clarence and Irving Scott.
It's still here.
It's still here. They would buy paper in bulk.
Clarence,
Clarence,
Clarence.
Christina. They would buy paper in bulk and then cut it into sheets, repackage it, and sell it to different retailers.
Words are hard today, but
Words
that's
are hard
okay.
today.
That's okay.
I'm from Arkansas. Can you tell?
No, stop.
Retailers. So during the Victorian era, we've kind of covered this. Nobody wanted to talk about toilet paper, and it would only be offered to people who dared to ask for it as a medical item. You're like, I need this. This is a special thing. Scott's strategy was to give the store owners a reason to push the product by customizing the size and form of the package, as well as putting the store's name on the paper of the package. This is a time there was not a Walmart, so you wouldn't go to just like the same store in, millions of locations. It would be like a small grocery store, your local, wherever you go shop, and it was owned locally by whoever lived there. So it was like if my name is like not Scott because that's the name of the freaking toilet paper company, but if you're like, oh, my name is Freeman, it's my toilet paper brand. So you're more likely, and it's like, oh, this is Freeman's brand toilet paper. So you're more likely to sell your own product because it has your name on it, right? You're more likely
Yeah.
to promote it.
Sure. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
it was still made by Scott, the Scott
Okay.
company, but they would just distribute it using all of these different names.
The original Alibaba.
Yeah, where you're like, oh, it's my company, but I'm just actually selling the same thing that they have over there.
Mm-hmm. Just with a different name.
Yeah, It's just now it's my business. So the
Yep.
Scotts were supplying paper to over 2,000 retailers under hundreds of different names. Around the beginning of the 1900s, Arthur Scott, the only son of Irvin, suggested that Scott paper market under its own name. But they were like, no, we're not doing this. That's ridiculous. Market under our own name? That's insane. But Arthur persisted, and in 1902, they let Arthur sell under the Scott name. Oh, well, I lied to you. He bought the trademark rights to the name Waldorf and started selling under that name, Waldorf, because it sounded fancy.
It is fancy name.
It sounds bougie. So the idea took off, and the sales topped nearly $500,000.
Oh, wow.
The company had completely stopped marketing private label brands. It was only selling Scott branded toilet paper at that point. One day, a carload of paper was delivered to the factory that was too thick to be toilet paper, and Arthur cut it into wider rolls, perforated it, and sold it as disposable paper towels.
Smart man.
Ta-da!
Amen. Yep.
Now that that brand was under his name, he started to manufacture paper from scratch instead of buying the paper from other companies because now he is responsible for the type of paper. His name is on it. It's not just like, oh, well, that's Jim's paper. That has nothing to do with me. This is your name. Your name is on this paper. So he started working on creating better and like lighter paper. He invented a process to create a weak, low density paper that was absorbent and flexible. So not only was he making the most toilet paper in the world, it was the greatest quality of paper.
Damn.
hmm
My
Which makes,
dude.
I know, he was doing the most. In 1921, Arthur Scott became president of the toilet paper company, but died in 1927 before being able to see what his company would become and like watch it really prosper.
Bummer.
In his obituary, they never mentioned the fact that he perfected and popularized one of the most useful products in the world because it was like we didn't want to know that we were making toilet paper. So nobody knew. The Scott company was extremely profitable, but they started to downgrade their products from this like very high quality toilet paper to kind of just junk. Like they were making everything. And this is in the late 90s. They were making like anything you could think of, they were just making it, but it wasn't good. It wasn't stuff worth making. So from an income of over $150 million in 1988 to a company loss of $70 million in like 1993, they eventually cut costs and returned to just selling and manufacturing toilet paper.
Smart.
Eventually, the Kleenex company bought Scott, and it is what we know today. Because Kleenex, I think, owns everybody. There's like 6 companies that own anything.
Yeah,
Um,
true.
but anyway, so
They
that
just
is,
keep buying it up.
I know, we just keep buying everybody. It's like how Disney owns everything now with the Kleenex company. So yes, that is how we have the toilet paper we know today. Our journey through the ages from people not showering to people finding toilets to people using corn cobs to wipe their butts.
Not the
hmm
corn
To,
cob.
I know, just going back to our roots and just selling and manufacturing good quality toilet paper that will not
Wild
clog our
ride.
toilets. I
I
know.
don't think I ever think that deep into stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
really interesting how things come to be.
Well, and I honestly, before I started this, I was like, it's just toilet paper. But then the more that we did research and stuff on it, I was like, bro, well, you don't have toilet paper without the toilets, and then you don't have toilets without thinking about people wanting to be clean. Because we could just poop in the streets. I could go outside right now. Who's gonna stop me? But I like how there's there's nothing is just by itself in anything. Like we're all connected to each other and connected to everything. So I really like that. But anyway, that is our story. That is my tale for the past apparently 3 weeks because this is like a fucking novel that I wrote.
Mhm.
There's 12 pages of notes, single space. There's so much. But thank you so much for joining me throughout all of our episodes, especially you, Neb, and Christina. I appreciate you. You can find us on all of our social medias, Instagram, TikTok. I just made a, oh yeah, Facebook exists.
Facebook.
Yeah, I just made a TikTok. I don't know how long that's going to be around, but I just made one. I'm going to start trying to put stuff on there. So
That's so ominous. I don't know how
well,
that's.
I can't trust the government. We do have
Yeah,
a
that's fair.
website also. I just made it. It's sipandsaga.com. And I think that's about it. Let us know what you're sipping or if you have any suggestions for what topics we should cover next on our website or DM us on our Instagram or Facebook. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.